There's a strange truth about modern humans. Most of us no longer know how to rest. We only know how to switch from one kind of busyness to another. Jake drove back to Miami after dark. The highway glowed with lights. Massive billboards flashed past the windows. Sports cars sped through the night. Everything about Florida at night always felt like it was screaming at you. Move faster. Stand out more. Don't get left behind. Jake's phone kept vibrating nonstop. Instagram notifications. YouTube analytics. A message from another creator. Bro, your last video low-key dying. Jake stared at the screen for a few seconds, then flipped the phone face down. But only a few minutes later, he picked it up again, out of pure reflex. And that was the moment he began realizing the real problem. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't the followers. It wasn't the content. It was. He had lost the ability to stay still. When Jake got back to his apartment, he turned on every light. TV on. Laptop on. iPad on. Phone on. Noise filled the room. But strangely, he still felt empty. Jake opened YouTube. Another creator was going viral. 3 million views in 5 hours. His chest tightened instantly. That familiar feeling returned immediately. I'm falling behind. And almost automatically, his old instincts came back. Film a new video. Post immediately. Jump on trends immediately. Don't let the algorithm forget you. Jake turned on the camera, sat in front of the ring light. Yo guys, today we're gonna... He stopped. For some reason, he couldn't continue. Because in that moment, the thing filling his mind wasn't the lights, wasn't the comments, wasn't the views. It was the alligator, lying still, unreactive, unhurried. Jake turned the camera off. The room suddenly became silent. And for the first time, silence made him uncomfortable. He paced around the apartment, opened apps, closed apps, opened analytics, refreshed, refreshed again. Then suddenly, Jake laughed to himself. Holy crap, I'm addicted. Not addicted to his phone. Addicted to the feeling that he was doing something. That was why he always stayed busy. Because if he stopped, he would have to face the feeling that he wasn't enough. Jake collapsed onto the couch. Blank white ceiling. The soft hum of the air conditioner. And for the first time in years, he opened nothing. The first 5 minutes, his mind felt like it was going insane. He constantly wanted to grab his phone. Wanted to check the numbers. Wanted to do something. Anything. But then, he remembered what Walter had said. Most people burn all their energy trying to look active. Jake closed his eyes. Something most people don't know is that alligators stay motionless for hours, not only to conserve energy. Their entire bodies are built for patience. Their hearts can beat incredibly slowly. Their metabolism is extremely low. Their brains don't waste energy on unnecessary reactions. In other words, they are not controlled by urgency. Jake opened his eyes, and for the first time, he asked himself, what would happen if I didn't post anything for 1 day? Just thinking about it made him anxious. So the next day, he tried it. No video upload. 8 a.m. His hands twitched to open the apps. 10 a.m. He had already checked analytics 14 times. 12 p.m. He started panicking. The algorithm is going to kill me. My followers will forget me. I'm disappearing. But then, something strange happened. Nobody cared as much as he thought they would. The world kept moving. Jake sat inside a cafe watching the people around him. The waiter still smiled. Tourists still took photos. The Florida ocean was still blue. And for the first time, he realized most of the pressure in his head was self-created. That realization was both funny and terrifying. Jake started changing small things. Turning off notifications. Not sleeping beside his phone. Not checking analytics every 10 minutes. At first, it felt like withdrawal. Restless. Irritated. Unable to focus. At one point, he even wondered, am I destroying my own career? But then, he began seeing things he hadn't noticed before. He realized most of the videos he had made recently had no real emotion. They were just reactions. Whatever trend was hot, make it. Whatever sound went viral, jump on it. Whatever other creators did, copy the format. He wasn't creating anymore. He was simply chasing dopamine signals. And that was the moment Jake started feeling ashamed. Not because of low views, but because he had turned himself into a machine that constantly reacted to everything. 1 week later, Jake returned to the Everglades. Not to film a vlog. Not for views. Just to sit there. Walter looked at him and burst out laughing. Well, damn. The internet kid came back. Jake smiled. Yeah. I think my brain needed CPR. Walter laughed loudly. The two of them sat on the boat watching the swamp during late afternoon. The same alligator from before was still nearby. Jake stared at it for a long time. Doesn't it ever get bored? He asked. Walter shrugged. Predators don't need entertainment every 5 seconds. Jake laughed genuinely for the first time in months. And that was the moment he realized he was finally beginning to change. Not becoming more successful, but becoming more peaceful. But what Jake didn't know yet was that the real transformation would only begin once he returned to his old life. Because understanding the lesson inside the swamp is one thing. Living by it in the middle of the internet world is something completely different. If you think Jake is already healed, then the final part will surprise you. Because the greatest lesson from the alligator isn't how it hunts. It's how it refuses to let the chaos of the world pull it in. Follow the channel, because the final part is where Jake truly transforms.